this? You wanna go live, Justin? Oh my
Oh my
God.
gosh.
Huh.
Hi. Jeez.
Hi. Well, here.
Welcome
Whoa, whoa,
in.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Hello,
Hi.
Mark Saturn Video with a $5 super chat says I'm seeing The Flash next week, so no worries. I'll single-handedly save the movie for y'all. Well,
Thank
hey,
you.
thank
Because
you
we
very much.
we need
We
more contributors.
we did go see it, and you know how we do this here, Mark. You were such a mensch.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Yes, queen.
She cracks me up.
So thank you very much
Thank you.
for the super chat. Hello, guys.
Hello, everybody.
Was just talking to Justin behind the scenes before we came on, and yeah, he's excited because now I understand the DCEU.
Oh, I know. Oh, I see my buddy Pat in here. Ed Wood. What's up? So, what's up, Christina? What's up, Nathan? How's everybody doing? What's up, everybody?
Everybody, Mike, what's going on, brother? Justin, we got
Hello.
some stuff to talk about. I want to
We
say really quick that I've really appreciated the feedback I've been getting from people on the channel. It's actually been really cool. I've seen some people say things like, hey, I'm really happy that you are kind of branching out and talking about more than just horror, and
Good.
and that's cool. You guys know if I'm passionate about a movie or whatever it might be, I'm gonna want to talk about it. So I decided to open my channel up to that, and the viewership has been there, so it's been cool.
Awesome.
So I thought and it's perfect because I've been talking to Rudy like every day about this as I'm going on this DCEU journey. He's been giving me feedback on some of the movies and things to expect and yada yada, and we just kind of bouncing off each other. And I was like, Justin's really big into the DCEU as well, and I was like, this kind of perfect timing. The Flash just came out. Why don't we talk about the DCEU? We're going to talk about other stuff too, guys, and we're going to take questions like we always do near the back half of it. Don't worry. But as of right now, yeah, I'm that's kind of what I want to talk about right now. So Justin, I just right from rip. What did you think of The Flash? I saw your Instagram review, but kind of let us know.
I loved it. I mean, like I said in my review, I haven't since Wonder Woman 2017, I haven't walked out with like a nice smile on my face. And I really did with this one. Like, I loved Aquaman. I had so much fun with that movie. But for me, this one was definitely a better movie for many reasons. One, I love nostalgic stuff, and having Michael Keaton back as Batman and Bruce Wayne was fantastic. And I also said in my review that it's been over 30 years since we last saw him as Batman and Bruce Wayne, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long, and he just jumped right back into it, and I really loved his performance. I thought he was so good in this. Sasha Cal, hopefully I'm saying her name right. She's played Supergirl Kara.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was fantastic as well. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more screen time with her, but the moments that we had with her in the movie were some of the best moments in the movie.
Justin, she might be sticking around.
I love that because I want to see more of her. She was one of the highlights of this movie. And then I'll talk about Ezra. I thought they did a fantastic job too. Despite their personal problems behind the scenes of this movie, or like just in their life, as a performance, they did a wonderful job. And I've always loved their performance as the Flash / Barry Allen. But I think this is the role that they really shined.
Because now that I can speak to it, I just want to say, I feel like up to this point, Ezra's role as Barry in the movies that Ezra was in was, it was very almost like joking and kind of kiddie, because Barry is younger than most of them, and so like it made sense, but they didn't really get to dive into the Barry character. And I think it was cool to have an origin story of sorts because you got to see more depth from Ezra as an actor and then from Barry Allen as a character. And I thought it was cool because, I was talking to Rudy about this. Rudy wasn't big into the movie, but he admitted to me, like, and Rudy's not a fan of Ezra either, but Rudy gave credit where credit was due and was like, when it came to like the emotional beats, like especially near the end of the movie with Barry's mom and stuff, like that stuff was really good. And that tells you that like Ezra's a good actor. There's just but I don't know what the disconnect is all the time, sometimes, because I don't think Ezra always gives great performances. But I would say in this movie, giving more backstory to Barry Allen, I thought it allowed Ezra to kind of show a little bit more range, and I dug it. I really did. But as you said with Keaton, man, Keaton was awesome. He was awesome.
He was. I mean, he's got a good enough screen time, but I would have loved to have more of him.
Yeah, did your theater? Did you have people in the theater reacting? Because I did.
I didn't. So my theater, sadly, but this was an afternoon showing. Like, there wasn't too many people in the theater. I think there was like maybe 6 people in the theater, and this was a Saturday at 12:30. But there were some people that were definitely laughing and cheering, and I know, for me at least, when you heard the classic Danny Elfman music, and Michael Keane came on screen in the bat suit, like I was just cheering. I was cheering. I loved it so much.
I mean, this is the thing. Like with this comment, like who. I stick to that opinion, man. Honestly, that's awesome. That is awesome because Keaton did a great job in this movie, and I feel like I feel like a lot of kids nowadays don't have the nostalgia for Keaton's Batman films, so it's like they don't appreciate it as much. When they think of Batman, they think of Bale or they think of Affleck and now Robert Pattinson. But Keaton was awesome. I mean, Keaton was awesome in this movie. I mean, I've never been the biggest fan of Batfleck. I never, ever have. I really haven't. It's nothing. Ben Affleck is a great actor, but I just don't know if Batman was ever right for him. And
I've always said this. I love him as Batman. I love him even more as Bruce Wayne. I feel like he gives, like, outside of the Batsuit, gives a better performance as Bruce Wayne, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he's a good Bruce Wayne. He is a good Bruce Wayne.
So good.
But people are talking about the CGI. I just want to say, there was some wonky CGI in the movie, but the baby stuff was intentional because they didn't want it to look like real babies in such a kind of hectic scene because obviously and also it's kind of insensitive. But so like that scene, I can understand why you didn't really want it to look like photorealistic babies. But there definitely was some times where it was like, is this CGI finished? So I'll meet you halfway there. There was definitely some wonky CGI, but I do think the baby thing, from what I've read at least, that specific moment was intentional. I know Andy Muschietti said a lot of it wasn't. I don't know about that, but that scene was intentional.
I'm gonna say not the best CGI, but I don't mind the CGI in this movie because I think this was intentional. I think the CGI was intentional because Andy is a very nostalgic person. You could tell from the movies that he makes. And I feel like this movie was going back to, those more fun, like it had serious moments, but it was going back to its more fun, campy side. Like, some of the 90s and 80s and 60s and 70s superhero movies that we saw. Go back 15 years ago and watch some of those superhero movies, and the CGI doesn't hold up. Where I think Andy just he was like, you know what, I'm going to go nostalgic here, and it doesn't have to be perfect CGI.
He did that in the It films too.
You what?
He did that in the It films too. There's some CGI that kind of stands out that you're like, this isn't great, but it's almost like he's doing it on purpose.
So and I almost wonder, it's like we knew going into this movie, and I appreciate Andy so much. going into this movie that like when the CGI is there, we know the CGI that Andy uses. So I'm not going to let like that CGI stuff stop me from loving the movie that I loved, because I appreciate what he was doing with the CGI. It was very nostalgic. I think he was going back to nostalgic days.
Yeah. Guys, we're not going to dig too much into spoilers because I know there's people that haven't seen it yet. So
yeah, not too many spoilers. I saw like one comment and I was
we're really going to talk about the DCEU as a whole. We just kind of wanted to give our thoughts on the Flash. I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it too. I wasn't in love with the movie, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie, all things considered, and it was not a waste of time. I will say that, and I think that even if just for Keaton alone and Sasha, I think that they were both great. There was some genuinely funny moments. I loved that they kept playing up dicks. There were so many mentions of dicks that just every time made me laugh because I'm super immature. So yeah.
A couple of quick other things I loved about this. I love the fact that they kept, and if you know this, how they kept referencing Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly in Back to the Future. And they were like, no, he wasn't. It was Michael J. Fox. And if you guys know, like Eric Stoltz was originally cast as Marty McFly, and then 2 weeks into shooting, they let him go and they brought on Michael J. Fox. So that was a nice little wink there.
The two funniest moments in the movie for me were when Barry no longer has his powers and he's doing the Flash run around that was hilarious. And then the other part that made me laugh out loud was the "who the fuck are you" at the end. That killed me. That was great.
Then real quick, a couple other things I want to talk about because I really love this, and I won't give spoilers away. I also love the actress who played not his love interest. What was her name?
Her name is Iris.
Iris. Yes. Iris. You know what? We didn't get a lot of her, but she was great in it. Like she had some really great moments. And if they do another movie, if we continue on, I would love to see more of her. Fun fact, they had hired a different actress to play Iris in this movie. And then I think when Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, they decided to, it's wrong to say to scrap that actress and replace her with the actress who we have in this movie. And I thought she did a great job in it. I really enjoyed her performance. And then the last thing I have to say, and I won't give any of the cameos away, but like the third act, like I had a huge smile on my face with all the cameos that I was seeing. And I won't say who.
Yeah, my theater was going pretty wild.
Oh my gosh. Well,
but I've got to say this. T. Parker, to that point, Justin, and T. Parker Evans mentioned, asked a question a few minutes ago. Okay. Who did the multiverse better, The Flash or No Way Home? I'm going to say this. Story-wise, The Flash was a better multiverse story. But No Way Home did the multiverse integrating characters into it better simply because, for whatever reason, The Flash, almost all of the cameos were CGI, and it kind of pissed me off. And I'm not going to lie. I was talking to Rudy about this. Why did you use CGI Henry when you can use actual Henry? It's just... There was some CGI like that where it was like, why are all these cameos CGI? Like these people are still alive.
Well, I want to talk about, and I'm no spoilers, but I'll talk to you afterwards because I want to talk a little bit more with this. But there are two.
Haven't mentioned it yet, Sean. We're almost there, but thank you for the super chat.
There are two cameos at the end of the film because I read an article on this where they actually brought back the two actors. And they wore the costumes and they did the digital eyes a little bit with it. I won't say who, but I'll tell you what, like one I was excited for, the other one I was like freaking in love with because I grew up with a certain movie and I love the movie so much and I still love it today. Despite its campiness, I think it's brilliant and I'll talk about it in just a moment. And then, and I don't know, again, you probably know this, but like, if you read up behind the scenes, like Henry was supposed to be in this movie. Like they filmed moments with him. And because they're changing up this timeline, which I have my opinions on. They cut his scenes out, which is devastating. Because again, like you said, they have that CGI Henry moment, and I'm like, you can't give the guy like a moment in the film. I don't know. He's great.
Yeah, well, and I agree. And Mike, to your point, I do just want to say this, and then I'm going to use this as a jumping off point into talking about the DCEU and giving you guys my thoughts while I'm on this journey right now. DC has had no continuity from day one. That's why Marvel kicked its ass. Well, I'll tell you this. It is true that
a little bit, though.
It is true that DC didn't really have a clear plan from the beginning. No. That's absolutely true. Having said that, after watching some of these movies, I vastly prefer the tone and style of a DC movie over a Marvel movie any day of the week. They are darker, they're grittier, they're more adult. And for me, it's easier for me to watch that because I've seen a couple Marvel movies, not a ton, but I've seen a couple, and most of the ones I've seen, very, very kid friendly, very colorful, very, hopeful, and these happy endings and these. I'm kind of a nihilist at times, so maybe that's like maybe the DCEU is just made for me.
I prefer the DCEU.
I've got to tell you, man. I think that it's just. I think the characters. I think the characters are just it's right for just a better universe overall. I really do. I think Marvel doesn't have anyone. They don't have a 1-2 punch like DC does. They have Spider-Man. After that, they've got popular characters, but Marvel doesn't have a 1-2 punch like Batman and Superman. They just don't.
No.
And that's just a fact. People can say, "Oh, well, Iron Man is not as big as either one of them." Just not as big as Batman or Superman. And so that's why it was really Batman versus Superman should have made $1 billion easily. That you pitted two of the three biggest superheroes, Justin, in my opinion, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, in no particular order. Those are the three biggest comic book superheroes, and DC's got two of them. So yeah, I don't know.
I want to throw something in here. T. Parker, because I was going to mention his comment about Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder had a plan. Like he had a plan for the DCEU. And I think I honestly think the first 3 or 4 films, you saw like a cohesiveness a little bit. Despite what some people want to say about some of the movies, there was cohesive there. And Zack Snyder had a plan. I think when I'm calling it Josh Whedon's Justice League came out.
Justice League?
Yep. I think that is when
I watched that last night.
Just kind of went everywhere.
I watched that 2 nights ago. I also, guys, I'll let you know. By the way, I got to do this because Chris Fold, brother.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Yes, queen.
I want to
thank you for the super chat, my friend. I do just want to say, Justin, because I'm seeing a lot of people talk about it right now. I watched Justice League 2 nights ago. I had fun with it, but you could tell that it was a jumbled mess. To everybody wondering, I currently have Zack Snyder's Justice League paused right now on my TV. I am halfway through it. I will finish the second half after the stream. I'm watching it right now, actually, T. Parker. I'm halfway through.
I'm going to say this, too. Like, Josh Whedon's Justice League, I mean, I'm harping on it, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. The times I've watched it.
Well, what? Obviously, everybody knows a lot of the behind the scenes that happened with that. Obviously, the tragedy with Zack Snyder, but also it was Warner Brothers really wanting Justice League to be more fun, more kid friendly, and that's not Zack's style. I mean, Zack is very grounded, very gritty, very dark, and so Justice League is fun, but it is more in line with like Marvel than it is with like your Snyder movies. But I mean, I guess I'll get right into it, Justin, because people are wondering. My thoughts so far on the DCEU. I gotta say, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen I've been rating these movies. I'd seen some of them before, but I'd only seen them once. Man of Steel, loved it.
Brilliant. It's
I
one of my
mean,
all-time favorites.
I loved that movie. That movie was awesome, and I think that the score. I mean, oh my God, I love Henry in the role. I always liked Henry in the role, even though I wasn't a big fan of the DCEU. I always thought he was perfect as Superman. He just is. Loved Man of Steel. The only things about Man of Steel I would have changed, the prologue is I don't know. I know we need the backstory, what happened to Krypton and how Kal-El got to Earth and why and everything like that. But I was still kind of like, this isn't what I'm really here for. So it was fine. And then near the beginning, they didn't give us a ton on Kal-El. They were just kind of like, he just kept hopping from like job to job and different place to different place. Yeah. And I was like, this is a little jarring, like, but I get it. They were like, we want to give you enough of a backstory, but we don't want to waste it. And I appreciate Zach for doing that, because they really do get into it with the movie. There's not a ton of backstory after he comes to Earth. And I dug that. I love that movie. I had seen Batman versus Superman once, and I watched the ultimate cut this time just to make sure, because everybody says it's a superior cut. I liked Batman versus Superman, but I still have my complaints with that movie. I think that there's a lot of meandering in there. I think there is a lot of I think there's a lot of just filler that didn't need to be there. And I feel like it's nowhere near as focused as Man of Steel is. It's just not. You get to the third act and it's like the impetus for the fight is that Lex Luthor took mommy, like, and I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Like, it's kind of weird because I don't think they needed a reason. The movie built up perfectly to say Batman couldn't trust that Superman was always going to stick with helping humans if there's even a 1% chance, like I have to stop him, basically. That's a good enough reason for them to want to fight. So I didn't need all that. But again, also, I just think that I don't like Doomsday either. Like, I didn't need that. Now, I will say the final fight is awesome. But Batman versus Superman, I liked it. But I didn't love it. Justice League was fun, but definitely the weakest of the three. I'm halfway through Zack Snyder's Justice League now. I'm liking it more than Justice League. I mean, I've seen Wonder Woman. I liked Wonder Woman. I saw that years ago. I still haven't seen 84.
I love 84.
I know you do. I'll get around to it. And I still haven't seen Aquaman. But I mean, overall, like, I'm enjoying it. I'm having more fun watching this than I feel like I would if I went down the Marvel track, because I've seen a lot of Marvel movies, and I don't know.
I want to throw something in, because there's some people that, like, when people talk about superhero movies and they've never really watched them, and they're like, oh, I'm not really into them, I can't get into them. I tell people, I'm like, some of these, the movies you watched and some of the other DCU movies, I'm like, they're for me, they're different from Marvel, because like we talked about in the beginning, like Marvel, at least like in the first 3 phases, had like the same pattern of, it was a fun superhero movie, very clean cut superhero films, where I think if you're wanting to get into superhero movies, some of the ones that I recommend are a lot of these early DCU movies.
Well, you know what's crazy, Justin? I saw some
Winter Soldier. It is a great movie where it stands out of the box from a lot of the other Marvel movies.
You know what's crazy is that Man of Steel, I saw somebody put it in there that it fit perfectly with Nolan's like kind of Dark Knight trilogy feel. Yeah. They wanted Christian Bale. That was the report, that they wanted Christian Bale to come into that universe, but they didn't ask him because they felt like without Nolan he wouldn't do it, and he did a 3-story arc or whatever. But after the fact, Christian Bale said, no, I would have done it. So it's like, what could have been? Because I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I've never been the biggest Batfleck fan, as I said. Can you imagine if it was Bale and Cavill? Like, oh man, we're talking. If Batman versus Superman was Christian Bale's Batman versus Henry Cavill's Superman, it would have been $1 billion movie. It really would have, especially after The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. They both made $1 billion. It would have been $1 billion movie. And maybe, I mean, oh man, and you would have really had Nolan be a part of that story too, which could have helped a lot of the plot contrivances that are definitely there in Batman versus Superman. So, what a missed opportunity. It's a good movie. I have a good time with it, but it could have been like an all timer. Like,
I think there was a little bit of. I think if I remember correct, when it came to Batman v Superman, because I absolutely love Batman v Superman. For me personally, it's not as good as Man of Steel, but it's 5 out of 5 for me. The ultimate cut, not the theatrical cut, even though I do love that too.
Hey Jamie.
Hey Jamie. But
yeah, Man of Steel for me, yeah, Man of Steel is way above Batman vs Superman. I think that movie fucking rules.
Yeah, I love that movie. I'll say that the early studio and interference for Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman is, I think what happened was, I think he wanted to either make a Batman movie or another Superman movie before like a versus film, and the studio really wanted him to put Batman and Superman in one film, and that was the follow-up to Man of Steel.
Yeah, they basically made Batman versus Superman just a sequel to Man of Steel, which is not what Snyder initially wanted, but the studio was like, I mean, you can't blame them. They looked over at Marvel and they were like, we have to do something to get asses in the seats.
And it rocks. I mean, I love Batman v Superman. I love the Hans Zimmer and then Junkie XL, I think their name is, score. Oh. Like, they're brilliant. Like,
the Wonder Woman music, Is She With You? Oh my gosh.
Like, I have the soundtrack, and for like a whole, probably a year, I have that soundtrack playing constantly in my car. I love that soundtrack.
That moment is so fucking epic when she shows up and it's just like her theme, and I'm just like, oh my god, yes.
She is like hands down. Sorry.
Oh, and Gal Gadot is
she's
smoking.
Oh, she's wonderful in the role too. But she is wonderful in it. Like, she is like one of my favorite things about this universe, and she was one of the best things about Batman v Superman. If I had a complaint, and really only one of my tiny complaints about the movie is, I wish we had more of her.
Damn it, that's what I was gonna say.
I wish we had more of her, because, man, when she's on screen, like, even when she's outside of the Wonder Woman outfit, like when she's just Diana Prince, she's great in it. Like, she gives such a great performance. And it's amazing how she was able to prove to everybody that she can play this part, because when they originally cast her, people were like,
they were skeptical.
Wonder Woman? Like,
yeah, they were skeptical.
They were skeptical, and she rocks in the role. And she's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, she's genuinely great. I want to say that, like, so what I titled this stream as, and by the way, Monica, you've got to see Man of Steel.
Oh, yes.
You have heard me for years on these streams talk about how I've never really been a big comic book movie fan. I loved Man of Steel. You've got to see Man of Steel.
I mean, it's a comic book movie, but I feel like there's more to it.
There's a lot of heart there.
More to it. Like,
that is what was missing for me with Batman versus Superman. There isn't as much heart in that movie. I don't think there's a lot of heart in Man of Steel. And you care about Lois, and you care about Clark, and you care about his mom, and there's so much you care about. The stakes seem so high. And Batman versus Superman didn't have that for me. It's still good though. I still did like it.
Well, I want to say the one thing about Man of Steel I really love too is why am I drawing a blank on this? Michael Shannon?
Zod.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like,
which
just in general,
I gotta say, Justin, he was not very good in the Flash.
He was good. He was fine in the Flash, but the thing about it was, I wanted more of him.
He came out and said he didn't even really want to do it. He didn't have a fun time doing it, and I feel like it kind of shows. And I know why. He's bummed about everything that happened with Zach, and he didn't want to come back without Zach, but Zach gave him his blessing, so he did it. And but I feel like you could tell in his performance in the Flash, it was more like he was just there.
Well, you could tell in his performance, but you can also tell that, like, they just didn't give him enough screen time. Like, his side villain, I can't remember her name, but like, she was a waste in the movie. Like, I love the film, but I guess like one of my complaints with that movie is like they didn't give them enough screen time. Like, they were two of the best things about Man of Steel. Like, Zod, Michael Shannon's performance in Man of Steel is not only he's not only one of the best villains in a superhero movie.
I got chills when I watched Man of Steel, and you have that moment where he says, "This ends one of two ways: you die or I do." And I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah!"
Do you know one of my favorite lines in the movie? And it's actually one of the rare times I was heartbroken for Zod, is when after like his ship is destroyed and obviously his people are destroyed, he's on the ground and he's pretty much
when he's talking about like my whole purpose was to keep our race going. Yeah.
And my people are gone.
Yep.
And like that was the only rare time like I felt sad for him, because like he wanted to create a world for his people. Yes, he was going to kill everybody on Earth, which is devastating and wrong. But like that moment when he gives that line and he says, my people are gone, like, great moment in the movie. So
yeah.
I loved his performance. He was so wonderful in that.
Probably
the best of the DCEU villains that we've had.
Yeah, he's great in Man of Steel. He really, really is. But guys, so I want to talk about what I titled the video as, and I saw some people in the chat, near the beginning saying, "Oh, it didn't flop," blah blah blah. Guy, it's a flop. Unfortunately, it is a flop. And I say that I don't like that word. I hate that word, especially if it's a movie I like, because I want to see these movies do well. But The Flash was initially projected a while ago to do like 100 million plus opening weekend domestic, and then it was revised to 80, and then it was revised to 70, and then the studio said it was going to be 65 to 70, and it came in at 55. To put that in perspective, that's lower than Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and Transformers is not a franchise that is all that big anymore when it comes to the movies, because of a lot of the Bay movies. Like a lot of the general public checked out. I still like them, but whatever. So it vastly underperformed. It underperformed overseas. I think it opened global to 130, which means that this movie, it's probably going to do a little over 300 million worldwide when it's all said and done. And it had a $230 million budget, and the marketing was $100 million. So it's going to lose quite a bit of money for Warner Brothers.
Well, and I wanted to just say this too, is like this past weekend for movies in general was not very good, because that movie made 55 million.
There's too much out right now.
There's too much out, and I have my reasons, and we'll talk about our reasons why
I did a video on that the other day, actually. Yeah.
I haven't got a chance to watch it, but like I have my reasons, and I can give you my reasons why I think the movie didn't do as well. If you want to hear them right now, or are we going to go over it? Like,
well, I mean, we'll touch on that. I do want to say really quick, I've seen people say this online. I've seen it in my comments too. I gotta say, I completely wholeheartedly disagree with superhero fatigue. I completely disagree with that statement. And this is from someone that isn't a superhero movie fan. It is
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Exactly. It's not my bread and butter, but I gotta tell you, when it's a good one, they make money. They just do. Guardians got really good reviews. It has goodwill from Marvel. And it's going to make probably right around 900 million when it's all said and done. That's a lot of money. And like, we look at The Flash, it got decent word of mouth. I mean, the scores on it are pretty good. They're not glowing, but they're pretty good. But DC, it's a tainted brand right now, because everyone goes, well, they're rebooting it. So what does it matter?
That was my big reasons. That was one of my big reasons why the movie tanked. Look at Shazam 2. I don't think that deserved a bomb. But before that movie came out, James Gunn, and the one thing I would have told James Gunn is to not come out with like your future plans with DC and said, oh, the movies that are coming out within the next year, they're not going to exist anymore after this. Like, don't say that. Like, you're dooming these movies to be hits. Like, they're dooming to fail. And so Shazam 2 bombed. And then you have The Flash. And people know that, like, The Flash isn't going to be around anymore. So why are we going to invest our time into going to see this movie in theaters knowing that we will never get Barry Allen again.
Yeah,
and I know
it's almost like
rumors,
it's almost like a protest. It's almost like a protest. Like screw it.
Well, and I know there's rumors that like they're in talks of doing Flash 2, but like, and I love James Gunn. I love what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but I'm going to say this right now. He killed the movie. He killed the potential sequel that we would get. Like in my opinion, he killed the movie. Like
they said, yeah, you don't announce those kind of plans.
You don't. I think it's stupid.
But I will say I think that personally, I think that, well, actually, Warner Brothers basically came out and said that if The Flash did close to what the Batman made, they would discuss a sequel. It ain't touching $750 million. It's not even gonna do half of that. It just won't. And it's sad because I think it's a good movie. I will say though, Rudy, I strongly disagree. I do not think the rebooted DCEU is going. I don't think the new Superman will flop. I think you're looking at Superman Legacy is probably going to do like 500 million, and people might go, "Wow, that's really not that much." You have to understand this. They're building off now. They're starting a new jumping off point, and they're going to need to build goodwill with audiences for DC moving forward. So, I think as long as the first one reaches 500, that's a good jumping off point.
I do want to get to two comments real quick. One, Christina, I can agree with this. And, she talked about why are these movies coming out so close together? No, it's not. I'm not talking about.
No.
I'm not talking about that.
I was just I just saw Rudy's smart ass comment. Rudy, I promise you it's going to make $500 million global. Promise.
Well, with Christina's comment, though, I want to talk about this because for me, one of the best things about the early superhero movies, even like early Marvel and early DC, like the Dark Knight trilogy, I love the fact that like when we had superhero movies, you might have had one or two films come out within a year. Like you might have had, I think like 2012, we had Avengers come out, and then we had The Dark Knight Rises come out. And then prior to that, you had movies spread out. And I feel like the companies are like pushing a lot of these superhero movies into one year. And I don't think it's superhero fatigue. I'm not even going to say that. Like that's, for me, I disagree with that. But I do think that they should at least spread them out a little bit more than trying to throw in. I think this year we had maybe 2 Marvel movies coming out this year, and we have we have 3 DC movies in 2023. We had Shazam 2, The Flash, and then we have Blue Beetle.
Aquaman 2 as well.
Aquaman 2. So they're putting a lot of superhero movies into one year, and I think what can make them successful again is spreading these movies out a little bit more. Like, I know what DC's doing. DC's like, we need to pump these movies out so we can get to our new timeline.
Yeah, they basically already know they're going to lose money on these movies, but they're already made.
So bad. Like,
so they're basically just like, let's just put them out there and get them done with, and then we're going to restart. But I was talking to Rudy about this. I think Blue Beetle's going to suffer a similar fate, even though they say it's a part of the new
bomb.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to do very well.
It's going to bomb.
Well, again, man, it's like I don't know if now is the time to do that type of movie. Like you want to introduce that character in an ensemble movie, and then people go, "Wow, I like that character. I want to know their origin story," and then you give them a solo movie. But so many normies, they have no idea who. I've never even heard of that character.
No, I've never heard of the character before. But granted, I will say this though, especially in the early days of superhero films, when Iron Man came out in 2008, I knew very little about him. And I was like, are people going to go see this? And it was a huge hit. And I had the same reaction to Guardians of the Galaxy.
You want to know why? It's simple. The word of mouth on those movies was great.
I know.
The reviews were great. Audiences loved it. Like, that is a big deal. I don't think that's one reason why. Am I upset that Henry Cavill is not going to be Superman moving forward?
So pissed.
Yes, I am. I am upset about it. Having said that, do I think David Cornsweet is a good replacement if he's the one that gets cast? Yes, I think he looks like Superman.
Well, and I think so too. But David
And
Cornswell,
James Gunn
he's
is a
the guy.
great filmmaker.
He's
So
a
it's
great filmmaker.
it's going to be a movie that probably gets really good reviews. So if it gets really good reviews, it'll do decent at the box office. It just will. When movies are undeniably great, they make money most of the time.
The only reason I think the movie could potentially fail is how I think the Flash. One of the reasons I think the Flash failed is because of how, and I'm going to say this, how dirty DC was to Henry Cavill. They were dirty to him. They announced his return. He was excited for it. Like, I remember his post saying, "I'm coming back." I had the biggest smile on my face, like many people. And then not within a month later, and again, I love James Gunn. I don't like some of his decisions with DC right now. But a month later, he said, "Oh, Henry's not coming back now." And I personally believe one of the reasons why The Flash failed is because fans were pissed at what Warner Brothers did to Henry Cavill. And it's going to take time for people to forgive, not to forgive DC for what they did to him.
Absolutely, and it was wrong, and I think that anybody with any sense would say it was completely screwed up what they did. And by the way, Akeem, to your comment, yeah, I've heard that Aquaman 2 is not testing well at all. You're not.
I'm still gonna see it.
No, I know, but I am hearing a lot of people in the industry saying this is a problem. That it's
yeah.
But anyway, and then as far, I will say this to that point about Corn Sweat. Like I will never forget that for an entire generation of people, Christian Bale was their Batman, and those were $1 billion plus movies.
Yep.
And Robert Pattinson got announced as Batman, and so many people were like, "This is terrible casting," and it made, while there was still a bunch of the shutdowns going on, mind you, $750 million and got rave reviews. So, not to you, Justin. I know you're open-minded.
No.
I'm just saying to anybody, Corn Sweat's never going to replace Cavill, but he might be damn good in the role. So,
the only thing I want to throw in there is, I think, because you made a really good point with the Batman, if word of mouth comes out about this movie and the reviews for it come out, it's going to be a hit. Yeah. When it's Superman, here's the thing about it. Like Batman, Superman, and a few other superhero characters, Spider-Man, the X-Men characters, you can cast actors and actresses in these roles, and because of how iconic the character is in general, people will go out and see it. Like, I will go see the new Superman movie. I'm curious to see what it's going to be about. Because I'm just a Superman fan.
I will say this though, Justin. They say they have a plan. You better have a plan this time, because
they need to have a plan. Yes. If
you fail, DC is going to be in bad shape for a long time.
I mean, they're in. James Gunn's not kicking off really well with these movies that came out, but like you said, I think they're
well. I will say they're not his. They're not his. Him and Peter Safran took over with these movies they were already made. They still got to put them out there. They're not going to eat they're going to try to make some money with them, and some of the decisions they've made are shitty, absolutely. But I will say I kind of partially also blame The Rock a little bit because with the Henry Cavill stuff, because he. Give him credit. He pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to get Henry Cavill back. Yes, but from what I had heard, there was no agreement like set in stone behind the scenes. Yes, Henry, you are back, but he did the cameo, and fans were like, "Is he back?" And The Rock was like, "He's back. He's back. He's back." So then Henry was like, "I'm back." Yeah.
Well, and I keep interrupting you, and I apologize. But
no, you're good. I just wanted to say that because although it's shitty that DC didn't continue with Henry and they did not do well by him, I will say I put some of that on The Rock too. I really, really do.
And I want to say like a little backstory with Black Adam. Sorry, I was drawing a blank on the movie. Great movie, by the way. I really enjoyed it. So let's see. Try to convince him that. Oh, Bobby, I've tried. I've tried.
No,
I've tried.
it's not good.
It's okay though. I still love Nick. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So the original character that was supposed to be at the end of the movie was Zachary Levi Shazam.
Yeah, and he was like, "Fuck that." Yeah.
Yeah, and Dwayne was like, "I'm not gonna have him in it," and I don't understand why. Because when you
even though
they're
aren't they comic
they're
book villains?
connected somehow. They're connected somehow.
He's like the alternate Shazam.
Yes, I watched the movie, and there's characters from the first Shazam movie that are also in Shazam 2 that are in Black Adam. They're in that same universe. So I don't understand why he was like, I don't want him in the movie. It makes more sense.
I like The Rock, but dude has a huge ego. Huge ego.
But I agree with that. Like, I think Black Adam was that movie. And, like, people did not go. And again, because a lot of people didn't know Black Adam.
Yeah, but Justin, the craziest fucking part is Black Adam's going to end up making more money than The Flash. That's insane.
I love Black Adam. No, I really enjoy Black Adam, but I'm with you. No,
That's insane. That is bonkers.
I love
you did The Flash with Michael
Flash.
Keaton coming back. And
you have Andy
Black
Muschietti,
Adam.
Barbara Muschietti. I'm saying their last names wrong, and I apologize.
No,
like
it's Muschietti. You're right.
Yeah, there's a lot more heart, in my opinion, with The Flash. There's a lot more heart there. And I still about the cameos, but I'm going to talk to you about the cameos at the end of the stream because I'm like,
but we do need to talk about it.
It's devastating. It's devastating that this movie's not doing as well. Like, it's so devastating. And I love the film. I adore it.
I made a tweet I made a tweet. What's up, Kyle? That's my buddy Kyle. He's the he's the one I went and saw Transformers with a couple weeks ago. We're both big Transformers fans.
He said Pride fan, Rainbow fan. I love this.
Yeah, no, yeah. But Black Adam's kind of cute, not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, he's cute. Dwayne Johnson's sexy as I'll be. So
I just wow, that's interesting, Rudy. I don't know who this person is, but
how long have you
mods? You know what to do. Justin and I have been dating for years.
We've been dating for years.
And what happens behind closed doors is between us.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it is. I made a tweet about this a couple months ago.
What's up, Jason? What's up, J-Dev?
What up, man? I made a tweet about this a couple months ago. I'll never understand rooting for a movie to fail. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
Whether it's my thing or not, I hope it does well, and I hope it makes its money back. Simply just because, like, there's a lot of people involved, and it's good for the industry and stuff. So,
and I'm going to express an opinion, and I hope I don't piss people off. And I know I won't. You guys are great.
I'm already pissed.
I know you are. Grr. Because my lover over there, he's pissed off at me. Gosh. No, I think just in general with social media that we need to stop saying like, oh, these movies are doomed to fail. Oh, these movies are getting bad test ratings, like test screenings and everything. Because if we keep saying that, the sad thing about it is people aren't going to go and see these films. And even if the movies aren't great, I still have hope that the movies will be successful box office wise. I kind of miss the days where we had very little social media. And when you walked into a film, people didn't really know too much about it until they saw the movie themselves, and then they can give their opinions.
Preaching to the choir, Justin, because
I know, like that's why
Craven,
I don't think I'm gonna make people. I'm not gonna make people mad here, but it's like it's just like
one of the reasons. Goddamn, we keep interrupting each other. Sorry. I just wanted to say to that point, the Craven the Hunter trailer came out the other day, and the internet was dumping all over it, and calling it Morbius 2.0, and I was like, I liked that trailer. I thought the Craven trailer looked pretty good.
And as people, as film lovers, stop. And I'm gonna cuss, and I'm
always gonna do it.
Stop fucking like criticizing a movie before the damn film comes out. Like, why are we going to say, "Oh, this movie I hear it's testing really bad," and we keep talking about it. We keep talking about it. Well, if we keep saying that, the movie's not going to do well. And then when that movie comes out, we're going to be like, I'm really sad that the movie failed. Well, everybody keeps talking about how a movie's going to be so bad, or how this Craven movie looks like Morbius 2.0. And I'm like, give the movie a chance before you go and harp on the film. Like, don't say negative things about the movie until you see the film, and then give your opinion. I have the same problem when, and this has happened in the past with movies, where critics were able to get their opinions out like a month prior or 2 weeks prior before the movie. And if they hated the film, they slammed it. And people saw that and they were like, well, if they don't like it, I'm not going to go see the film. And then the movie tanks.
Yeah.
I'm going on a rant, but it's the truth. Like,
no, you're fine. You're fine. Really quick, I just want to say thank you very much, Salem Station Podcast, for the $10 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. So before we get into that,
Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen.
Dan, you can't stop that. I had to break silence a little bit.
I saw you. Thank you very much. And look, I'm not really super familiar with the character of the Flash, but as a comic book fan, I trust your judgment when it comes to the character of the Flash. I will say though, I did like Ezra in this movie. I did like Ezra.
I wouldn't. They did a fantastic job.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, to me, it wasn't like, oh my, Robert Pattinson in the Batman, great.
No,
but I thought it was good, but I hear you though. I mean, I really do hear you that it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, if the fan base of a specific character doesn't feel like somebody's right for the role, that plays a huge part in it too. It really, really does. Like, Justin, if tomorrow they were like, John C. Reilly has been cast as Superman and Superman Legacy, people would be like, what the fuck?
How dare they? How dare they?
I mean, that would be wild.
It'd be wild. Again, I kind of miss the days where it was like we had very little social media and we can go into these movies not knowing much about it. The only thing we probably saw was a trailer. One of my favorite sources when I was growing up and kind of like keeping an eye on like the latest movies coming out was this website. It might have been called Movie Web, but it was like you go on there and like they would like post like small production photos. And I was like, ooh, what's going on in this new X-Men movie? Or, ooh, there's a photo of Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yahoo did that. Yahoo did that. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is kind of what I miss these days. Like, I miss times like that where we didn't know much about the movie until the day the film came out or the day after the film came out. And that's when people started putting their reviews up there.
Yeah. Now it's like we almost let the critics drive the conversation and we shouldn't. Like a lot of times, especially when it comes to like superhero movies or horror movies, I think the fans should drive the conversation, not the critics.
Well, I do think the fans should, but I also have to say, like, both critics and fans, like 50. There are people out there, like you said with the Craven trailer, who automatically are calling it crap.
Oh, and I know exactly why. I was seeing the memes about it. It's simply just because it's Sony and people don't trust Sony's universe they're trying to build. So as soon as a new movie gets announced, they're immediately like, this is going to suck. Sony has no idea what they're doing. And it's like, wait. So because Morbius was kind of like B-level schlocky.
I love Morbius, by the way.
I had a really good time. Thank you, Salem Station Podcast.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
So much.
Thank you.
For doing this.
I would, I took that you don't hate them because you super chatted. So I very much appreciate that. But I mean, I think that since that movie wasn't great, everything they do is going to suck. Like, I remember when they announced that El Muerto movie and the internet was like, who the fuck's El Muerto? This is stupid. Like, and now obviously it doesn't look like that movie's going to happen. And then, they cast Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven the Hunter and the internet was like, why? This is stupid. And I'm like, can you guys wait for a movie to come out before you make up your mind that it's going to suck?
Like, that's what I'm saying with movies. It's like, don't go and criticize a film until the movie comes out, people. That's all I'm saying. Like, give your opinion on a movie when the film comes out. You could say maybe like the trailer didn't wow you. I've said that in the past, but I am not going to go and say, well, that movie's shit when I haven't seen the film. Like, I'm going to go and tell you my opinion of the film when I actually see the movie.
I just want to remind everybody, back in the day when Henry Cavill was cast as Superman, do you think the world was super excited and hopeful? No. Most people didn't really know who he was. They already had a Superman that they loved very much, that they were not ready to, bring somebody else, especially somebody they didn't know, into the role. And now look, 15 years later, everyone loves Henry Cavill as Superman.
Man.
So like, let's wait till a movie comes out. Let's watch it first.
One of my favorite things, talking about Superman, one of my favorite moments going back in the day. let me tell you back in the day. One of my favorite things was when Superman Returns was announced and they cast Brandon Routh and no one knew who Brandon Routh was. And it was just like, oh, he looks like Christopher Reeve. And they still didn't release much about him up until the release of the movie. And when I went to go see the film, I was like, that is a great Superman. And it was awesome. Like, again, I miss back the day.
Oh, and T. Parker Evans, to that point too, it's spot on. Now everybody has all this nostalgia for Andrew after No Way Home, but most of y'all didn't give him the time of day with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. When I've always loved him, and now everybody's
Spider-Man 2, one of my favorite movies.
Same, and I actually filmed a video that I'm posting tomorrow that may feature that movie in it, and it's just really frustrating because it's like, where were you when it mattered? Where were you? This nostalgia trip of like, man, we didn't really realize how good this person was until 10 years later. Yeah, well, you know what? You suck, okay? You suck, because Andrew was perfect for Spider-Man, and now everyone's saying, oh, make TASM 3, make TASM 3 after No Way Home. It's like, yeah, I've been saying that since 2014, fuckers. Like, pisses me off.
And Jamie, I realized like Brandon Routh was like an actor beforehand, but I guess I meant like he was like a fresh face in this universe. It's kind of like Hugh Jackman before the first Wolverine, or before the first X-Men came out. Hugh Jackman had acted in things, but he was sort of fresh faced for when he was cast, and people saw him. They were like, wow, this guy's great in this. And I think the same way about Brandon. I think he was great in that movie.
Alex, I to your point, I think that is a great point. I think the world would shit a brick if you made a Batman multiverse movie with Keaton, Affleck, Bale, and Pattinson. Like, I think that would be insane. And I think that was something that was realistically on the table until James Gunn took over. I don't think we'll ever see that, unfortunately, because they have to rebuild DC now. They want to build it in their own image. That's going to take years. By the time they get it on solid footing, Keaton's going to be 80 years old, and I just don't think he'd ever come back. And then on top of that, I don't see it. And it sucks, because that was something that had been talked about at one point. That would be amazing. A Batman multiverse movie would be amazing.
I'd even bring back George.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I'd bring back George. I'd bring him back. Hey, I'm not going to say
CGI Adam West in there. Fuck it. Every Batman ever. But
and I could be a Batman. They'll be like, who's that Batman? I don't know. He just popped up in the movie.
No, Justin, you're Superman. The thumbnail has you as Superman.
And my t-shirt. I could be the next Superman. Cast me as the next Superman.
Hey,
I could be the first gay Superman.
They did the auditions last week. Justin, where were you?
Oh, I had to work.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, so there's a lot that's frustrating about this this current situation, especially when movies come out and they are really good and they just don't get the attention and the recognition they deserve at the time. And then 10 years later, people are like, man, we didn't really know how good we had it. And, for someone like me, it's just like, Where were you? Where were you?
I know. I'm like that with Amazing Spider-Man too. I'm like, where?
I'm like that with those movies. I'm like, hey, guys, even look at Man of Steel. Man of Steel only made
I know.
$600 million. Like, it wasn't this massive hit. Like, guys, if Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman were billion-dollar movies, the DCEU is not being rebooted right now. Period. Point. It's not happening. It is not happening.
Oh, you know how much like we didn't get flack, but like when I would tell people after Man of Steel came out that I loved the movie, they'd be like, "You love that film? Like, I don't understand. It's a fine movie." And I'm like, "No, it was a damn awesome movie. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Or one of the biggest complaints when the movie came out was critics were like, "It's too dark," and I'm like, "You
didn't
saw
say that shit
Dark
about
Knight."
The Dark Knight, yeah.
I know. And I kept telling people, I'm like, did you not see the Dark Knight trilogy? Okay, people, did you not see the Dark Knight? Right. No. But that was Nolan. And I'm like, who gives a shit? It was like, I was baffled in that.
Yeah. And no. I am not advocating for Snyder to come back. That I am not one of those people. That's not who I am. I am simply just saying, because this is where I stand with all of this, in my opinion. I think that, in my opinion, okay, with the hands, I think the DC universe did need to be rebooted. I really, really do. Having said that, I don't think every person needed to be recast. Exactly. That's what I'll say.
Exactly.
I think you should have kept Henry Cavill, personally.
Gal Gadot.
I think, Gal should also have been kept. And personally, I think that, I'm trying to think if there's any other character that I think they should have kept. Oh, and well, I don't, whether they should have or not, I think one person that is in their plans moving forward is Jason Momoa. I do think that he's still going to be in the plans.
And I think, and I could be wrong, I think the movie's going to do well, even if people say the movie sucks. I think the movie's going to make more money than The Flash. I think Aquaman 2 is going to be a modest hit. If anything, a big hit.
It probably will, because it has the goodwill. It has the goodwill from the first movie too. Well, and the first movie made $1 billion. So,
and it's coming out in December. Like, that's a good time for movies. That's a good time for films. So,
well, Brandon, even though I'm not the biggest fan,
I love Ben Affleck.
Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Ben Affleck as Batman, I think that he should have been recast simply just because it drove him to alcoholism and suicide. Like, by the time he was done playing the character, he openly talked about how he couldn't do it anymore. He just could not do it anymore. It was making him depressed. He was drinking way too much. I think for his own mental health, his character came to a fitting end with The Flash. And I think that is okay, because it's what Ben wanted. So I whether you love him or not, never force somebody to do something they don't want to do anymore. That's kind of where I stand. He just didn't want to do it anymore. And
I'm seeing Joshua Brooks. By the way, hello, Joshua. Talking about Gal Gadot and how she could potentially be in future ones, and I could see that. Like, I was going to talk about, like, I got excited when James Gunn was first announced as the guy taking over DC, and I'm like, he can fix the problems that it has and still keep on these people that people love, like these likable people that people love. Like, they love Henry. I love Henry. They love Gal. I love Gal. I'm like, don't fix what's perfect. Fix the problems. And that's my only problem with James Gunn right now. And this whole wiping the slate clean and coming out with these movies that could be good, but like, do the fans know about these movies? Like, overall.
I understand where James is coming from, though, because although I wanted to keep, I do, because although there were a couple actors I would want them to keep, from his perspective, he's looking at it like, I don't want to have any carryover from the previous regime because it doesn't feel like I built it. He wants to build DC for decades to come. And whether he fails or succeeds, he wants that to fall on him. And I can respect that. I can respect at least saying, like, if this is going to be successful, we're going to have to work our asses off for it. We're not going to take anything from anybody else. We're going to do our own thing. And so the success or failure falls on him. So I respect it. But You should have kept Henry. You should have
You
kept
should have
Henry.
kept Henry and Gal. Like those are my two big ones. Like I'm like, come on, dude. Like those two right there. Like I watched Shazam 2 and I watched The Flash, and when I saw Gal in those moments, it put a smile on my face because I
didn't know she was going to be in The Flash. I had no idea.
I thought they cut her stuff out. Like
But I laughed out loud when Barry
spoiler
said
alert,
that
by the way, she's in the movie.
what did Barry say? He said like, I know what sex is or something like that, but I've never had it or something like that.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud.
But she was wonderful. Like even in those small parts, like she was wonderful. And if you don't know, like Wonder Woman for me was my superhero when I grew up. Like there was Batman and there was Superman, and I loved them. But Wonder Woman for me was my superhero. And when I saw her on the screen for the first time, and I still see Diana Prince and Wonder Woman on the screen now, it puts a smile on my face because I just adore her so much. I adore the.
She's great. She's great in the role. Great in the role.
Yeah. So
J-Dev,
anyway, I'm showing my passion for this.
Mission Impossible Fallout is incredible.
I'm gonna rewatch that after we're done with this. So.
Oh, I'm gonna finish Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Or Avatar 2. I might watch that one. I don't know. But that's 3 hours long. I don't know if Justin can stay up that late.
Yes, Jamie, he did want to come back. He's always wanted to come back.
Oh yeah, he expressed it a lot. And you know what? And I also blame DC prior before James Gunn. And I don't know why they kept putting their foot down and saying we're not doing a Man of Steel 2, because ever since Man of Steel came out 10 years ago, Henry deserved his sequel way years ago. Like years back, he deserved his sequel, and they never gave it.
Technically, his sequel is Batman vs Superman.
I know, yes, but I'm like, you missed the golden opportunity to make a Man of Steel 2. A Man of Steel 2. Like at one point, George Miller was even in talks of directing it. Mad Max fame. And I would have been really happy with that. And I don't know what happened.
The world may never know, Justin.
I don't know. I'm cast as Superman now, people.
So, guys, I'm going to say now is the time that we open it up to some questions. We got about 15 or 20 minutes left. Also, leave a like on this stream if you haven't already.
Please do.
Leave a like on the stream and throw some questions our way.
I agree, T. Parker.
Yeah. Oh God.
I'm like going like, yes, let's talk DC and let's roll.
We've been talking it too.
I know.
We got into the nuts and bolts.
When you said earlier, when you texted me and you said we're talking DC, I'm like, where's my Superman shirt? And lo and behold.
favorite multiplayer map in Halo, Valhalla. It was always Valhalla for me. I loved Valhalla, but I haven't played Halo in years.
I've never played Halo, so. But I'm gonna.
Justin and I agree. Valhalla. Yeah.
I'm going with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Going with that.
Are you guys getting Pearl on 4K? Yes.
No.
Yes.
I love the movie.
I didn't buy
rebuying it so much.
I took Christian's advice. I did not buy the Blu-ray because I waited for the 4K and it got the announcement. So, yep, I was right. I was smart about it. I'm also getting that collector's edition It Follows from Second Sight Films.
I'm getting that one. Yes.
Looks beautiful.
Yes, I will be getting that one.
After Snyder's Cut, what do you plan to watch next? What
am I gonna watch?
Maybe I don't know, Justin. Maybe the Suicide Squad. Maybe.
Are you talking about the James Gunn one or the David Ayer one?
The David Ayer one.
Personally,
because that's a part of the DCEU.
Yeah, haters are gonna hate. Haters are gonna hate. I really enjoy the 2016 movie, and I'm gonna break people's hearts right now. I prefer it over the one that we got from James Gunn. I don't know.
I haven't seen either one, so
I really understand there's problems with the 2016 movie, but again, I blame that on the studio for meddling into David Ayer's movie. So.
Yes. Yes, David, we're getting Aquaman 2 in the winter in December. I did not see the trailer for Suitable Flesh. Did you, Justin?
I did not. I did not see that one.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, guys, yeah, a Blu-ray is fine.
Titanic.
Speaking of Titanic, man, whew,
That's heartbreaking news.
yeah,
Heartbreaking news.
yeah, but here's how it
And I
is
hate the
heartbreaking.
memes, by the way, going around with the memes. I'm like, come on, people.
I mean, I think they're kind of funny, but look, heartbreaking news, of course, but I will say, fucking rich people, man. Like, seriously,
I know.
You spend all that money to do something so dangerous, where so many things can go wrong.
I know.
Like,
I know.
You couldn't pay me enough money to go that deep in the ocean. You could not pay me enough money. I would rather cut my head off myself with a rusty spoon. Justin, going tens of thousands of feet deep in the ocean?
Yeah.
No way in fucking hell. No
I just
way.
tell them I'm going to stay by the hotel and drink margaritas.
No way. Did I watch John Wick? I did not watch
John
Wick. I did not watch John Wick Chapter 4 yet.
John Wick Chapter 4 rocks. I rewatched it the other night and it's still amazing. And I still love it so much.
I also have not seen there was another one Across the Spider-Verse. I have not seen it yet.
Oh, I love Graham and Barbara Crampton and Jamie.
Yeah, it's wild to me. I mean, I hope they're found. I really, really do, because that would be a horrible way to go. And if they are still alive, although this is the last day they could be found with oxygen. Yeah. So if they are somehow still alive, that has to be the worst, most miserable thing you could experience. It's got to be terrifying. But again, let this be a lesson to all these rich people in the world. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
I agree. No, I agree with that. I'm like, no, I'm gonna have a pina colada and watch James Cameron's Titanic on my TV. I don't need to go.
There you go, Justin. The only way you could get me to go that deep in the ocean is if I was with James Cameron. You want to know why? Because James Cameron would have hold on. He would have a fucking entourage with him. There is no way his machine would go missing. No way in hell. So you'd come back up. They'd find your ass.
I thought you were gonna say you'd sit down with me, have a pina colada, and watch Titanic.
I mean, I'd honestly rather do that. Yeah.
Thought that was your first initial. I was like, oh, he's gonna agree with me.
Yes, David, I have seen it. It was a joke of a submersible. The submersible, the thing they went into, just how I know. It was. Yeah. Why would you go that deep in that thing? No.
I mean, it's a totally different movie and genre, but like even like a film like 47 Meters Down, I'm like, hell no, I'm not gonna go into a crate with sharks in it.
Well, hey, listen,
Big Crack Rock. What will happen?
No, and Big Crack Rock, I'm gonna say this, and a lot of experts have said this. It is far more likely that they imploded. Like the reality here is the reason they can't find them is because that thing was made so poorly that the pressure of the water at some point just literally they imploded. Like they probably all died instantly. That I hate to say it, but that is probably exactly what happened. Yeah.
And Christina, yes, come have a pina colada with me.
Do you like pina coladas?
Watch Shrek.
Getting caught in the rain.
J-Dev, Jason, don't get started. I love my bis.
Yes.
James Cameron, if you're watching this.
He's not.
You're probably not. But if you are, I'm telling you right now, James, release this and release True Lies and release Titanic and all these movies that deserve love, okay?
Hey, David. It was a PlayStation controller, not an Xbox controller. God.
Man, he's like, I'm getting heated, and Nick's like, listen up, man.
Hey, if James Cameron,
I'm talking to James. I'm like, James Cameron.
Well, you know what? I'm not even making a joke here, Justin. I'm being dead serious right now for a second. Listen. Seriously, you might laugh. No, you might laugh at this. People might laugh at this. Yes, we need a Grown Ups 3. That's literally what I was thinking about too, Akeem. That's literally what I was thinking about too. Justin,
David, yes.
Why didn't they send James Cameron down there? He's literally been down there. He has the tech for it.
James Cameron said, guys, hold the phone.
I'm making Avatar 3. Okay. I
no,
can't
he was
do
like,
it.
He was like, Justin's demanding me for me to release The Abyss and True Lies, so I can't right now until I
Look,
release them.
Look, I think that that thing fucking imploded. They're all dead. Anyway, hate to be morbid, guys. They're dead. And
I'm not gonna be morbid right now. Poseidon Adventure, David.
I'll be morbid. But yeah, send James Cameron down there. He'll find him and he'll make a new movie about it.
Until he releases The Abyss and True Lies, I'm like, David or James, if you go down on that fucking ocean, dude, we got problems.
Barbenheimer. Yes, Barbenheimer. Next month. Isn't that what they're calling it? Barbenheimer?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a double feature that day and watch the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. I'm still both of them.
Look, I'm still think it was a horrible decision for Greta Gerwig to not include Barbie Girl in the movie. That's just
Apparently, we're gonna get it.
Apparently, it's a remix with Nicki Minaj. So
no, I love Nicki, but no, no,
you don't fuck with that song. Not when you make the Barbie movie. You don't do it. You don't do it.
Let's go party. I'm a Barbie girl.
Everybody knows that damn song, and you're making a Barbie movie. Anyway,
it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, and the other.
I know all the words too. Okay, my mom loved that song.
I got whiplash a little bit doing that.
Rudy, okay. I want to ask you guys too. I've been seeing a lot of stuff come out about Oppenheimer. Apparently, Oppenheimer's kind of fucked up.
Well, I hear it is too. It's and I could.
And I can't wait.
I mean, I can't wait either. But it's R-rated too, and I'm like, I can't remember the last time we had a R-rated Christopher Nolan movie. I saw that. I'm like, what?
Do you know if? I mean, the movie. Somebody let me know. Do you know if they're going to actually? I know they said they did explosions and stuff. Are we going to see a recreation of the atom bomb dropped on Hiroshima? I would think that's what the movie's got to lead up to, right?
I mean, I would not hold Christopher Nolan to it. Did you ever see Tenet where a plane crashed through a building? That was all real. I was like, wow.
Christopher Nolan is the Tom Cruise of directors.
He is. And I love that man so much. Interstellar, like one of the best movies ever made. There's a lot of his, but Interstellar's.
Indiana Jones isn't out yet, David, but it'll do better than The Flash. Simply, it'll do better. I'm not. It's not gonna do $1 billion, but it's gonna do better than The Flash.
I hope it does. Again, that one, a lot of people are like, it's not very good, and I'm like, shut up until you see the movie.
Oh yeah, Joshua, you're right. Justin, what'd you think of that part where he says, "Come on, Barbie," and then Other Barry goes, "Let's go party"?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I was like, yes.
Mm-hmm. How excited are you for Saw 10? 11 out of 10.
I'm like, I'm gonna go 11 out of 10. I'm excited for Saw 10. So
I think it's gonna be awesome. Wait, no fucking way it was found.
What?
Somebody verify this. I'm streaming right now. We are streaming.
I'm texting. I'm Googling this stuff right now.
They were found alive? No fucking way. Come on, live chat. I need you.
2 hours, 4 hours ago. I need to know this. What?
Come on, guys.
Is this real? Come on. We need you. What?
Somebody let us know.
Please.
I feel like I would have got an Apple News update across the top of my phone. April Fools. Yeah, there's there. I was gonna say.
Dirty.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Oh, like earlier today, I was like, there was a thing that popped up. It said, "Did they find them?" And they were like, "Oh, there was noises." I'm like, "Well, that doesn't."
Dude, I was honestly kind of scary when I heard that. They said they heard banging noises. I was like, bro, if that's actually, that is haunting to think about. It is
haunting. It's scary.
But then at the same time, if that was actually them, what I'm thinking is, why are you banging? Maybe just try to make noise because you're not getting out. I mean, shit, you don't want to get out of that. If you got out in that water, your body, you would instantly implode. You're so deep, the pressure would just explode you.
Oh,
Rudy's like, I'm about to kick you out for lying because Rudy.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Rudy and I have been.
It's a movie line, by the way. I'm not really saying I'm gonna kick your ass.
Rudy and I have been sharing memes about it. I won't lie to you, Justin. There was a 5-second audio clip that I sent Rudy earlier that literally killed me. It was like, oh my God, the audio of the like passengers banging on the inside, and you hear banging for like 2 seconds, and then you just hear just.
I think I saw like a Finding Nemo gif into the shark's mouth, and I was like, okay.
Rudy blamed it on the orcas. He said the orcas got their asses.
Man, I don't think orcas have been like vicious.
I don't think orcas go that low.
They don't go that low.
I'm telling you right now, you know who it was. Rudy and I, we know. It was the Meg. It was the Meg.
I was gonna go and I was gonna say, like, there was my joke. Oh, the Meg.
Well, that was the meme. That was the meme I saw was Jason Statham. It was like only one person can find that submersible, and it was Jason Statham. And I was like, yes.
I love the Meg, by the way. That is
I can't fucking wait for the second one. That movie looks so fun.
Me too.
So fun.
I love the first one. Love the first one.
Wow.
So guys, what are some questions? Tell me what you want to know.
Did you like Underwater with Eminem? I mean, Kristen Stewart.
I loved the movie.
I liked it. I
only seen it once, but I did love it.
I liked the turn it took. I was kind of like, this is not Rudy. That monster was fucking Cthulhu. Okay. Yeah. That's the turn I loved, is that I was like, okay, what is this? What is this? I was like, holy shit, it's fucking Cthulhu. Phenomenal. Yeah, that movie was cool. I liked it. I didn't care so much for the first half, but I think the second half of that movie is really strong. So it was solid. I bought it. I liked it enough to buy it. I don't really blind buy anymore. I just don't do it. I used to do it years ago.
Sporadically, I blind buy, but it's very sporadic. Very sporadic.
The only time I blind buy, Justin, is if I've heard really good things from my friends. Like
and that's when I buy. That's when I do it, because I'm like
a couple years ago, I blind bought Knives Out. And
love Knives Out.
Yeah, and I blind bought Bohemian Rhapsody, and I ended up loving both of those movies.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I bought this, and by the way, I rewatched Avatar last night, and I think it's much better than I remember. I bought the second one, and I'm going to rewatch that one, not knowing too much about it except for the positive feedback.
JG Michael wants to know if we've seen the sequel to Becky yet. No,
I've never even seen Becky, so
and Becky's pretty good. Becky's pretty good, but I have not seen the sequel. I think it's called Wrath of Becky. I think I have not seen it, but I've seen people talking about it, so I will get around to that.
T. Parker, Insidious 5. I'm so excited.
Yes.
So I just bought the 4K Steelbook. I want to go back and watch it and then do a revisiting review and talk about it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna cover the series on my channel next month.
That's a series that I have to say there's not a bad movie in that series, in my opinion.
No. Even the weakest one, I think, is still pretty solid.
I agree.
I feel sorry for those that blind bought Skinamarink. Yes, me too.
Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Christina. Yes. You'll love it. You will love it. Which, by the way, that was a fun stream with Cody, dude who loves movies. We had a fun time with that. I do, and I want to plug this in. I do have a Pride review coming out for the movie Cruising, so it's either going to be up tonight or tomorrow, so just expect that.
There you go.
Cruising.
Are you guys excited for Five Nights at Freddy's? I've never played the game.
I don't know too much about it.
No, but I'm sure it's going to be a massive hit because a lot of people love that game.
I will definitely let you know.
David, I'm the same. Mike Flanagan is my favorite horror director currently.
Oh, it's always a toss-up, but I think, Mike's my favorite too.
I would say it's a toss-up too between him and James Wan, but James Wan's done doing horror, so I don't consider him a horror. Yeah.
So I was going to say, when I think of Mike Flanagan, when I think of a filmmaker and I think of a movie that's not bad in my opinion, Mike Flanagan has not done me wrong yet. So.
No. My least favorite movie of his is probably
No,
I'm not even gonna say that. I love that movie. I love
it too.
It's either Oculus or Gerald's Game, and I still think both of those are really good.
I do. Gerald's Game might be. It's not my favorite. What is my favorite?
Doctor Sleep is my favorite movie he's done, but my favorite thing he's ever done is Midnight
Okay.
Mass. Midnight Mass
I
is
still
my
need to
favorite
watch
thing.
that one. I still need to see that one.
Justin, I'm telling you, that
I
is
need to
going
watch
to fuck you up.
I hear it does.
It is so good.
I'd probably say my favorite thing from him, movie wise, would be Hush. I think Hush was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And then outside of his movies, Haunting of Hill House is just wonderful.
I was
And
just
I love
saying,
Doctor Sleep too, and Gerald's Game. Like I
was gonna, Justin, if you like Haunting of Hill House, just wait for Midnight Mass, man.
I'm waiting for his Edgar Allan Poe TV show.
It comes out this fall on Netflix. We don't have a date yet, but it comes out this fall. We do know that. The Fall of the House of Usher.
Doctor Sleep. What's up, Caleb? How are you? We've missed you, buddy.
What's up?
Wasn't
Sleep.
Mike Flanagan supposedly working on a Christine remake?
He had interest in it. That was talked about, but I think it didn't go anywhere.
Damn shame.
Yeah.
You're great at it. Doctor Sleep is another one. When we talk about films that didn't do well, but it's like an amazing movie.
Oh, it deserves
Dr.
so
Sleep.
much better.
I remember when that came out, we saw it in theaters, me and a buddy of mine. And then when we saw the box office results, I was just so heartbroken with that.
Yeah, I was shocked. But it was two reasons. They released it a week after Joker. And the other reason, they didn't market it as a sequel to The Shining.
No.
And they needed to do that more.
And I think that wasn't that the year that they had 3 Stephen King adaptations come out. I think.
Yeah, you had Pet Sematary, you had Doctor Sleep,
Chapter 2,
and It Chapter 2. Yes,
like,
and Doctor Sleep is not a well-known one. Not a lot of people knew he wrote a sequel.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, we've gone an hour and a half. I have to finish. I have 2 hours more of Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I will put a rating on Letterboxd when I'm done with it, so you guys know. Leave a like on this stream if you have not yet. Subscribe to our channels if you have not yet. Follow us on social media if you have not yet. This is Nick. This is Justin. We love you.
Love you guys.
And we shall see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.